TPR.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the TPR Pod. This week's episode, I don't know if you've been following the Instagram, but you've probably seen the news. I wasn't going to put out an episode this week. We had recorded something with a great content creator, fun episode, really cool guy. But given the situation in Pakistan over the past 4-ish days with the floods and the devastation, it just didn't seem right to further pollute the social media hive mind with just irrelevant information and, take up space. But then I had a conversation with MystaPaki, who is the guest for this week. It's sort of the problem with Pakistan is that you often, especially if you don't live in Pakistan, you feel isolated and despondent, and you feel like there is no control. And for a great part of people, even in Pakistan, that is true. But sometimes it helps to talk to people about it. It certainly sort of helped me, as you'll see by the end of this episode. And if we're getting attention, we might as well use it for the right reasons. This episode is sort of the end of our aim to talk about Pakistan and Pakistan's situations in a real and frank manner from people who have actually been doing the work on the 75th anniversary of the country. We're getting in just before the end of August, so this episode counts. What I would like to draw your attention to is in the description, there is going to be a link to Umair Najib Khan's Instagram, where he has collected a bunch of places where you can send money, where you can donate to charities, NGOs, etc., who are working to help those affected by the floods. People on the internet all the time seem to be asking, how can I help? What can I do? Where to donate? This isn't all the locations, but this is a good collection of people. You can go there, or you can go to Shazeen Rahman's Instagram. She also has a GoFundMe or something of the sort where you can pay by credit card, PayPal, etc. abroad if you're outside of Pakistan. So good places to start with. I think what we need to do is focus on helping the affected and also keeping our eyes open as to how we got here in the first place, because, until you identify a problem, you're never going to solve it. Who knows if we'll solve it, but at least we identify things. Anyway, here's the episode with Mr. Bucky. I hope things get better. कराची में क्या आई थिंक बारिश सीन अब तो खत्म हो गया ना
यार for now like
राइट
but कभी भी वापस आ सकता है जिस तरह
तुम
yeah,
उसी तरफ रहते हो डीएचए की तरफ
yes हम
तो
उधर ही रहते हैं
how was your experience
यार thankfully my area was okay just phase में मैं हूँ so but there are pockets of DHA that are like literally like you're like what the hell man, like what the hell, this is like one of the most expensive real estate in the country. And like when you look at it, like you're like shit, like they don't even have basic drainage
yeah
nahi hai
yeah
so like if you have like phase 4, you have Bukhari area,
Hmm.
so bad. Abhi shukar it's all abhi to khair main aaj like I did a little quick spin around DHS, so it was all dry, like thankfully
Hmm.
वो सही था. But again वही बात है, like people are predicting वो एक और आएगा, एक और अभी आ रहा है, अभी खत्म नहीं हुई है तो यार
It's
but
gotten to
again like
the
आप सोचते हो ये कि you're like at least कराची का सीन ये कि fine, Karachi के अंदर disaster ये सब कुछ होता है and everything, but Karachi people are used to it, ठीक है, and one way or
yeah
the other Karachi will
resilient
deal with it, will get resilient. I hate that word, but yeah, but we'll figure out a way to get through it because we've done it, and internet है, social media, यहाँ लोगों का शोर वोर मचा के काम हो जाता है, but what about the places जहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है? That is the
yeah
real thing जो आप देख रहे हैं इस floods के साथ.
yeah bro मतलब it's I don't remember जो 2010 वाला जो फ्लड हुआ था, मतलब I vaguely remember फखरे आलम एट PF का वो जो म्यूजियम है, वहाँ सामान जमा हो रहा है और सब कुछ एंड आई यूज्ड टू से पिछले कुछ सालों में ना कि हाँ यार आई रिमेम्बर एंड द होल नेशन मोबिलाइज्ड और सब कुछ था. उसके बाद हर साल फ्लड आए. एंड
कराची में तो आई थिंक आई कैन से एवरी ईयर.
या
I mean,
या
every year, one way or the other, the city floods.
हाँ
One way or the other. Like, sort of जैसे I was talking to someone from Bombay and in India, and वो लोग कहते कहते हमें तो आदत हो गई, हमें आदत है हर साल हम फ्लड होते हैं और हर साल गवर्नमेंट कुछ
अच्छा.
नहीं करेगी. लाइक हमें आदत है, ठीक है,
ओ
डूबता है, मानसून में आएगा डूब जाएगा. तो लाइक आई वाज लाइक, कराची इज लाइक लिटरली बिकम जस्ट लाइक दैट, जहाँ सॉर्ट ऑफ लोगों को आदत हो गई है. लाइक मैं हम बात ये उस दिन कर रहे थे कि जब जब शुरू में बारिश होती थी ना, शुरू में जो जो एक मीठी मीठी सी बारिश होती थी, लोग बड़े खुश होते थे कराची, अरे ये पकौड़े से बोलते.
या
नाउ
या
इट्स लाइक you literally have anxiety. Like
या
मुझे, and I work in
ब्रो
Kurangi,
मुझे असल
ठीक
में
है,
यही
and
ख्याल आया
Kurang,
था. आई वाज थिंकिंग
which is a
अबाउट व्हाट वी वर गोना टॉक
it
अबाउट.
is an it is a nightmare.
या
It is a nightmare.
एंड तुम्हारी तो
Um,
जॉब भी like your work is sort of like in dealing with लोगों की mental
basically,
situations.
I work in the emergency at Indus Hospital, and at Indus Hospital is in Kurangi, and it's a great institution and everything, and offers free medical care. सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा है, but it is in an area, a very low middle income area of Karachi, and Kurangi is basically समझे, it's kind of like this peninsula surrounded all
Yeah,
by
yeah,
water,
yeah,
and there's only two entrances into Kurangi, like दो bridges है basically, which cross over a river bed or something. तो बेसिकली जो बारिश होती है, इनमें से एक जो ब्रिज है वो लिटरली नाले के ऊपर बना है, वो डूब जाता है. सो एंड कुरंगी इज वेयर कराची इज मेजोरिटी ऑफ देयर इंडस्ट्रीज. इनफैक्ट कराची नहीं,
yeah,
पूरे
yeah,
मुल्क की जो सारा जो पैसा, मईशत, मीडिया, एवरीथिंग इज ओवर देयर इन दिस
yeah,
वन
yeah, yeah.
एरिया. So literally getting in there and getting out is the nightmare. Like you're like, Allah, God give me patience. Like मेरी नींद खत्म हो गई है दिन की. Like I've had to cut down on like half an hour, 1 hour of sleep just so that I can cross that bridge. I can
अच्छा.
cross it. हाँ, it's very like वो, and people are very casual about it. In fact, even at work, it's become very casual. Like काम normally 5 बजे खत्म होता है, but like my bosses and everything, they're very उस मामले में कि यार बिलाल, एंड मुझे खुद आके बोले, कभी सोचा नहीं वो बॉस, यार बिलाल यार 4 बजे निकल जाओ, निकल जाओ,
Right,
वरना
right.
तुम ब्रिज नहीं क्रॉस कर पाओगे.
Yeah,
लाइक
yeah,
4 बजे, इनफैक्ट आई फील लाइक 3:30 इश मुझे एच होना शुरू हो जाता है, दैट आई हैव टू गेट द फक आउट ऑफ हियर, वरना
yeah.
मैं फंस जाऊंगा. एंड कई दफा ये होता है, लाइक आई हैव बीन स्टक देयर, अगर गलत 5-10 मिनट ऊपर हो गए, कहीं किसी ने बुला लिया काम के लिए लास्ट मिनट पे एंड
हाँ हाँ.
एवरीथिंग, एंड 3 घंटे 4 घंटे you are just stuck, you are
Yeah.
stuck and you cannot get out of there because the other bridge is closed.
Hmm.
So it is a mess, it is a mess of epic
नहीं, I
proportions. But again,
remember
मैं वही बार,
when
हाँ
I
बोलिए.
worked in Pakistan, which was only for a year, वो back in 2010 वगैरह, उसमें ये था कि जौहर वापस घर जाना होता था from पार्क टावर्स के पीछे हमारा ऑफिस था. तो उस वक्त भी क्रेजी रश आवर्स हो रहे थे. उस वक्त शार फैसल नई नई वो हो गई थी, सिग्नल फ्री
हाँ,
एंड ग्रेट डेवलपमेंट
या,
फॉर द कंट्री. और उसमें ये था कि अगर आप 5 मिनट लेट निकले तो इट कंपाउंड्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ कितना लेट पहुंचोगे.
yes,
तो
yes.
वो दैट 5 मिनट somehow turns into like half an hour, 45 minutes at the back end.
Oh, and what is worse is that if a colleague, आप
Hmm.
कोशिश करो तो निकलने की, and एक colleague आ जाए, is like, यार मुझे रास्ते में उतार सकते हो, and I was like, it's like आप you sympathize with them also because you're like,
Yeah,
yaar, ye yahan phas na jaye and everything. But then
yeah,
a part of you is like, bro, it is a nightmare. मैं यहाँ से बाहर निकल जाऊँ और तुम्हें कहाँ like बीच में फेंकना हो.
yeah,
But some of them are like empathetic enough. They're like, यार बस मुझे अपने रास्ते में कहीं उतार देना. Then you're like, okay, fine, I'm not going out of the way for you. But like तुम अपने रास्ते में then figure out your way from there. But some of them
yeah.
उनके नखरे बड़े होते हैं. You're like, जानी अपना रास्ता खुद ढूंढो यार, इतना मैं नहीं कर सकता. Like,
But it's
someone
like,
must really love you to go out of their way in Karachi these days.
yeah, but it's वही ना कि you have to. This is something I think Kazi will really appreciate कि मतलब the kindness of strangers के ऊपर बस आप dependent हो गए यार, कोई मुझे छोड़ दे वरना
Yeah,
अब आ fucked. मतलब वो क्या करेगा वो बंदा. और
there is,
अगर
साफ सी बात है, इस कंट्री में किसी के पास कोई लाइक प्लान ए क्या प्लान बी सी कुछ नहीं होता. एवरीवन इस सिटी में, स्पेसिफिकली कराची में, एवरीवन इज जस्ट रिलाइंग दैट कोई ना कोई समवेयर और द अदर विल यूज देयर काइंडनेस एंड गेट मी आउट ऑफ दिस सिचुएशन, एंड दिस इज हाउ
yeah,
ये शहर चल रहा है, इसी तरह
yeah,
चल रहा है. एंड वही मैं
yeah,
बार बार बोलता हूँ कि मुझे परेशानी नहीं है कराची की इस फ्लड से. कराची विल फाइंड अ वे, कराची हमेशा फाउंड अ वे, कराची फाउंड अ वे
yeah,
थ्रू through like the most insane of like riots, through the most insane of like terrorist situations, like बिल्कुल ही जब अब मैं सोचता हूँ ना 90s के बारे में, like लगता है
Hmm.
फिल्म थी, but we lived it, like सबने बस जलती हुई देखी है, सबने टायर जलते हुए देखे हैं, like ये
Yeah.
सब हड़तालें वड़तालें, अल्ताफ भाई के like बयान वयान सबने सुना है, everyone has seen this madness. And Karachi got through it. Karachi finds a way. Like हम ऐसी हैं, ठीक है? Like बाकी पाकिस्तान ऐसा नहीं, but we find a way.
Yeah.
But it's the जो छोटे शहर है, that is what I'm worried about. Who have never seen any of this, who don't have this coping mechanism. जैसे
Yeah.
even like a part of me, जब मुझे पता होता है if someone is struggling, like छोटी चीज, जैसे मुझे घर उतारना है, like हाँ 2 मिनट के लिए आपको होता है, but then you also understand, you're like अच्छा जानी आजा,
Yeah.
अच्छा
Yeah.
कोई
Yeah.
मसला
Of
नहीं है,
course.
but you're like चल कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है, and like you, and because you know कि one day this could also be
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
and
It
then
probably has been you at some point.
yes,
Huh.
yes, one way or the
Huh.
other, so you kind of like piggyback off each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
अब अपना काम चला लेते हैं इस तरीके
Yeah.
से, which is all like it's a great city in that sense also, which I always say. I was like शहर को जो है कराची misfortune ये like बड़ी shit government बार बार मिली है, like, and I'm not blaming one political party, it's been years, like it's been
हाँ
years
हाँ
and
हाँ, सब
everything.
आगे जा चुके हैं.
लोग अच्छे हैं शहर के, हाँ लोग,
Yeah.
एंड पीपल, लोग अच्छे हैं, एंड लोग एक दूसरे का बहुत ख्याल रखते हैं. आई मीन देयर इज अ रीजन कराची को गरीबों की माँ बोलते हैं.
Yeah.
दैट्स व्हाट, बिकॉज़ पीपल जस्ट लाइक कराची का जो मॉनिकर ये है कि आप शहर में आ जाओ, शहर आपका ख्याल रख लेगा वन वे और द अदर.
Hmm.
इस शहर में कोई भूखा नहीं मरता है. खाना बहुत लोग देखते हैं. आप गोली से मर सकते हैं, आपका मोबाइल छीनते मर सकता है, गॉड फोरबिड, भूखे नहीं मरेंगे आप,
Yeah.
ठीक
Yeah.
है.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
दैट्स द थिंग.
You'll be murdered
वन
with
वे
a
और
full
द अदर.
stomach.
Yeah, that's as macabre as that sounds. That is literally what will happen in Karachi.
यार पर मुझे ये बताओ, you studied psychology, right? I remember from
That is something which I am still in the
process of
process
studying.
of like, it's something which I'm toying with right now. Right now, I'm working in
अच्छा.
public health.
अच्छा. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're working like as a
Huh.
standard doctor.
Yeah, standard doctor in the emergency. I work in
Emergency.
education, mainly like
Right.
developing and capacity building of the emergency medical setup in Pakistan. So like because that's
Of Pakistan.
yes,
अच्छा,
yes.
that's a whole
So
different thing. That
yes,
is now
it's
suddenly
completely
very interesting. कि अच्छा इसमें क्या होता
वेरी
है?
इंटरेस्टिंग. बेसिकली मैं आपको बताता हूँ, पाकिस्तान में अगर आप बात करें, जो एक इमरजेंसी मेडिसिन होती है, इमरजेंसी मेडिसिन
Yeah.
की रेजिडेंसी होती है.
Yeah.
उस रेजिडेंसी के अंदर पाकिस्तान के जो हैं ट्रेन्ड इमरजेंसी मेडिकल प्रोफेशनल सिर्फ 15 हैं, 15 फॉर अ कंट्री ऑफ 220 मिलियन. ठीक है,
What?
तो समझ लें आप कितने स्क्रूड हैं इमरजेंसी मेडिसिन के अंदर. मैं आपको फैक्ट्स बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है. तो और इन 15 में से जो है एटलीस्ट जो है 9 से 10 जो है सिर्फ कराची में. बाकी जो 5 है दैट इज फॉर द होल कंट्री. ठीक है. So basically what I work in is I work in a program which is called the certification program in emergency medicine. It is not a residency, but I work in collaboration with UPenn in America in
Okay.
giving people the doctors the skills within 1 year. Not a residency, मगर आपको skills है ही नहीं ना, तो like हम skills दे देते एक साल में कि यार ये आपको आना चाहिए ताकि आप इमरजेंसी में डील करो. ठीक है.
Okay.
सो दैट इज व्हाट आई एडमिनिस्टर दिस प्रोग्राम. साथ में मैं इसी का एक ऑफ शूट है जो मैं पीडियाट्रिक मेडिसिन का भी करता हूँ. तो जो लोग पीडियाट्रिक इमरजेंसी में आते हैं, एडल्ट की अलग है, पीडियाट्रिक की अलग है, उसको मैं करता हूँ. एंड साथ में देयर इज अनदर प्रोग्राम व्हिच आई आल्सो वर्क इन, लोगों को स्पेशलाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग देते हैं जो ट्रॉमा के अंदर होते हैं, जो सिर्फ
Right.
जैसे एक्सीडेंट्स, बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट, ये सारा. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because पाकिस्तान में आप देख रहे हैं फ्लड, ये भी एक इमरजेंसी है उस
Yeah.
शहर
Yeah.
की. ठीक है.
Yeah.
तो
तो मतलब what sort of stuff goes into this? Like is it like triage और इस तरह की चीजें होती हैं?
yes, triage and everything, and process क्या है, किस तरह डील करना चाहिए ये. एंड इट डील्स विद एवरीथिंग वेरी सिस्टमैटिकली. हम सिस्टमैटिकली इमरजेंसी, अच्छा न्यूरोलॉजिकल इमरजेंसी क्या करना है, ठीक है, ये अगर कोई रोड ट्रैफिक इमरजेंसी, इसमें क्या करना है. गायनेकोलॉजिकल इमरजेंसी है, जैसे समझो लाइक फ्लड है, मगर फ्लड के अंदर एक औरत है, वो लेबर के अंदर भी जा रही है,
Yeah.
हाउ आर यू सपोज टू डील विद इट. ठीक है, तो हर चीज के प्रोटोकॉल अलग होते हैं.
Mm-hmm.
सो दैट इज आई एडमिनिस्टर द प्रोग्राम. ऊपर से बेसिकली मैं पूरा एडमिनिस्टर करता हूँ. सो इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ कोलैबोरेशन जिसके अंदर हमारा वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ लाइक इंटरनेशनल यूनिवर्सिटीज, यूपेन है, एमरी है, हमारा कनाडा के अंदर भी सिक्कित. सो वी कोलैबोरेट ऑल, और हम यहाँ पाकिस्तान में लोगों को देते हैं ट्रेनिंग. इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क, इट्स ग्रेट वर्क, वेरी काम बहुत है, जरूरत बहुत है इस मुल्क को.
Yeah.
बट या लाइक एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स ऑल्सो very exhausting in the sense कि you're like कितना करूंगा मैं कि कुछ ब्रेक इवन होगा, एंड यू सी लाइक कुछ कोई काम ही नहीं हुआ है, which is also very disheartening at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're also very overworked,
Yeah.
burnt out, underpaid,
हाँ.
grossly underpaid for all of this, and very underappreciated. Which, and I'm speaking very frankly over here with all this stuff. आप काम, and that is the reality of being a doctor in Pakistan, where आपको एकदम से एक point पे आके आपको crisis होता है. Crisis ये होता है, you're like, मैं इतना काम कर रहा हूँ, इतना एफर्ट डाल रहा हूँ इन चीजों के अंदर, एंड एंड इतना अपना टाइम डाल रहा हूँ, इतनी अपनी एनर्जी डाल रहा हूँ, एंड इफ आई एम बीइंग वेरी फ्रैंक, आई विल get paid for that lesser than how much I get paid just to put one post up on Instagram.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
the that is the reality of it.
हाँ.
Um, like being an influencer in the sense कि मुझे चलो कोई कैंपेन मिल गई, अच्छी कैंपेन मिल गई, ठीक है, उन्होंने कहा तुम्हें एक पेड पोस्ट डालना है, उस पेड पोस्ट से मैं ज्यादा पैसे बनाऊंगा बनिस्बत कि मैं 5 दिन 8 8 घंटे हर रोज लगा रहा हूँ इन 3 4 मेडिकल प्रोग्राम्स ट्रेनिंग पीपल. एंड लोग कई दफा मुझसे ये पूछते हैं, बार बार ये मुझे पूछते हैं और मुझे बोलते हैं, बिलाल तुम तो डॉक्टर हो, तुम डॉक्टरों वाली हरकत करो, तुम डॉक्टरों वाली ये तुम क्यों करते हो साइड पे. मैं कहता हूँ जानिए, आप आके मुझे बिल्स पे कर देना मुझे. अगर अगर इफ यू वर पे seriously, like if
Yeah.
you were paying me enough for it, ठीक
Yeah.
है, I would not do all of this. I would
Yeah.
not do all of this, but that is the reality of it. And now at this point, like, I mean, alhamdulillah hi bolunga and everything कि from being an influencer and doing all this brand stuff, I make anywhere between 5 to 6, or sometimes some months even 7 times more than I make per month just being a doctor. And that is the reality of being a doctor in
या
Pakistan.
या और अगर अगर डॉक्टर्स स्ट्राइक पे चले जाएं कि हमारे पैसे नहीं है, वो जस्ट नॉट पेड इनफ, तो पीपल आर लाइक, ओ यू शुड बी सेविंग लाइव्स, और आप लोग कैसे कर सकते हो.
मुझे
मतलब
ये
इट्स लाइक.
इतनी दफा ये गैसलाइट करा जाता
हाँ.
है, एंड
हाँ.
इतनी दफा ये गैसलाइट करा जाता है. A lot of my seniors even over here, like जो आपके होते हैं and everything, and like they will kind of poke fun at you. You're like, हाँ हमने तुम्हारा ad देखा था, बड़ा
हम्म.
चवल ad था, हमने तुम्हारा बड़ा बड़ा चवल था. मैंने कहा जो आप लोग मुझसे काम कराते हैं ये भी बड़ा चवल काम है और मुझे कुछ नहीं देते इसके लिए, ठीक है, let's just be real about that, ठीक है.
या या या
So like, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. And then you understand when you're very so much on the front line of this that you realize कि why doctors leave this country. Like मुझे literally like समझ आता है क्यों छोड़ते हैं. कुछ मिलता ही नहीं है आपको. This is,
या
मैं आपको सच reality बता रहा हूँ. ये reality है. कि I know a lot of people, a lot of doctors from my class who would have been like, yeah, I would have loved to stay behind. Like a lot of them, but how will you stay behind on this? Like literally, how will you stay behind on this? Like what is there?
हम्म.
That is, I'm
हम्म.
like, honestly, मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ कि if I did not like the work that I did, and at the same time I did not have something on the side,
या
I
या
don't think I would have stayed. Like
या
I Alhamdulillah had something on the side. I have established myself as a writer. I make money from there. I have also established myself on my page, so I do brand endorsements
या
also.
या
So Alhamdulillah, I'm settled. उस point से, ठीक है.
हाँ, जो कि
What if I did
इत्तेफाक
not
है.
have?
या
इत्तेफाक है. It is a
या
total accident. This was not
या
something that was planned.
या
But if this was not there, I don't think I would have stuck
या
around
और
on
इस
this.
और
I
इट्स
would
नॉट
not.
लाइक, आई एम श्योर, लाइक पाकिस्तान में चलो आगा खान वगैरह को हटा दो, बट लाइक हाउ चीप कैन मेडिकल एजुकेशन बी? टू बिकम अ डॉक्टर कांट बी चीप, राइट?
It's
हर
not cheap.
किस.
It's very expensive. Like
या
it is very very expensive. Regardless, like चलो fine, अगर आप government institute के अंदर भी जाओ and everything, end में like exams होंगे, international exams भी अगर देने होंगे, and mate, it stacks up, it
या
does add up
या
and everything, and then that is the reality of it.
हम्म.
Um where, and even like how I started working, doing this current job and everything, this was also very accident. It just happened, like something came up, applied and everything, got it, and then yeah, like that's what happened.
हम्म.
Like I like the work and everything, but at the same time it's like आप कई दफा, there are days where you question it. Like someday आपका, you get a brand deal and you look at the check that this is what they're giving you,
या
and it's very minimal work, minimal effort, and you're like, shit. And I was like, here I'm like working with lives and
या
everything, I'm
या
doing all this and everything, and this is what I'm getting for this, and that's where you have this crisis. That's where,
हम्म.
and a lot of people like, कि यार, is this even worth it? ये वाली बातें बहुत
या
सारी आती हैं,
या
and I'm being very honest over here, ये बड़ी बहुत दफा होता है.
या What I wanted to ask you was कि इस month, because usually तुम्हें पता है we stay away from quote unquote issues वाली बातें on the podcast, but मैंने सोचा था I was going over this theme कि चलो जी 75 years हो गए, and let's talk to different people about how is Pakistan doing. This was like a few weeks ago, and I mentioned to you कि ये हो रहा है. उसके बाद से like over the past 5 days, Pakistan's pretty fucked.
A
In
lot
the
has
sense,
happened. 5 days in 5 days.
yeah,
Pakistan in
yeah,
5 days is like 5 years.
yeah, or मतलब we've had these wild मतलब वैसे ही गर्मी थी. There was heat waves and shit, and then फिर बारिशें हो गई, कराची डूब गया, and then we're like अच्छा चलो ठीक है, we're getting through this, and now पूरा मुल्क डूब गया. What I was wondering was, you have this interest in psychology, and also you've been all over Pakistan,
Yeah.
much more than like the average city person, I guess, would even want to. Because like if you're an urban person, आप कराची के साथ आप शायद लाहौर चले जाएंगे,
Yeah,
शायद आप
yeah, yeah.
इस्लामाबाद चले जाएंगे,
Exactly. Because आप
नॉर्दर्न
कहते हो वो
एरियाज
वो
चले
हमारे
जाएंगे.
जैसे हैं ना, वो हमारे
हाँ
जैसे
हाँ. You
हैं.
won't go to Balochistan, you won't go to
No.
like interior and anywhere
Yeah.
non-urban.
Yeah.
तो मुझे ये बताओ, how you've spoken to a lot of people.
Hmm.
पाकिस्तान में हालात तो कभी से अच्छे नहीं है, right?
नहीं.
For like a long time.
नहीं.
And that sort of, ये हम resilience वाली बातें भी कर रहे होते हैं वगैरह. Why, how are people feeling about their future? Is it just कि बस हाँ यार day to day हमें जिंदगी गुजारनी है because हम जिंदा हैं?
No.
Um,
The thing is, एक जो बात आपको जो सबसे पहले conflict करती है when you're traveling and when you go to other parts of Pakistan, specifically out of the urban bubbles,
yeah.
is कि आपको जो urban rural divide है ना, एक वो it like smacks you in the face. Like जो मेरी problems होंगी, जैसे लाइक जो मैं बातें कर रहा हूँ अभी, हो यार मुझे लाइक इतना पे नहीं करते, मुझे वहां ज्यादा पे करते हैं, ये वाली बातें, टू देम दिस साउंड्स लाइक शैंपेन प्रॉब्लम्स. वो कहेंगे
Yeah,
ये क्या
yeah.
बकवास कर रहा है, हमारे पास तो है ही नहीं, कुछ है ही
Mm,
नहीं यार, दोस थिंग्स. So like again, हमारे problems and everything are very different. And another thing which is very interesting is like when I go to, like, a lot of people have a habit on shitting on Karachi, and
mm.
rightfully so, because
Sure, sure.
Karachi is dysfunctional and uske bade masle and everything.
हाँ.
But when you go out of Karachi to other parts of the country, like into the heartland here, and you tell them you're from Karachi, हर बंदे की जो आंखें होती है ना,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they just like light up, ठीक है.
yeah.
They want to tell you about, oh मैं भी गया था, या मेरा ये कोई रिश्तेदार गया था, या मैंने वहां टैक्सी चलाई थी, मैंने ये किया था. And that's when you realize that what a privilege it is to live in the city like Karachi, like New York है Pakistan का. That's how literally it is, and you start looking at it from that perspective, and that is how they view you as,
Yeah.
कि अरे ये तो कहाँ से आए, oh कराची से आए and everything. And that's when you realize all that. So like, again, like how people are feeling, it's like, when they talk to me, it's like somehow they want me to find them something in Karachi. They see as
Right.
Karachi is like a big opportunity hai yahan, bada wo hai. But at the same time, there's also a lot of, like people are also scared. Like
Yeah.
it's also that wala time where people are a lot self-censoring a lot, and khul ke baat nahi kar rahe.
Okay.
Even if you want to talk to them about issues, ke कैसे हालात, क्या हालात हैं,
हाँ.
they don't trust me. I just came to their place, ठीक है.
Right.
And people right now in Pakistan, there is what it's going through, there is a lot of, it's very different in the sense ki, and it's very extreme. Like let me put this into words. There is one part of Pakistan which is self-censoring, but there is a one part jahan bilkul censor sab khatam ho gaya hai. Like,
Mm.
and log itna khul ke bol rahe hain, you're like, bro, that is not okay to say
Yeah.
in public. What is wrong with you,
अच्छा.
and like, and so, and that's where, and I find myself like, as someone who lives online, just ki I have as an online presence and everything, at a very crisis type of point where, like, like you don't know, you don't want to self censor also, because you want to speak the truth कि क्या
Yeah.
हो रहा है मुल्क
Yeah.
में. But there's a part of you, they're like, यार ये नहीं बोल सकते जानी, ये
Yeah, yeah,
ये
yeah.
क्या हो गया तुझे, ठीक है.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
So the
Pakistan
people
is,
who, when they talk to you and they're self-censoring, उनको ये लग रहा है कि अगर उन्होंने ज़्यादा अपने मसले बता दिए तो they will get into trouble, perhaps.
like let me elaborate. Like basically, like if I've recently been to Balochistan quite a few
हाँ,
times, okay,
हाँ.
recently, and Balochistan has issues, and Balochistan has a lot of issues, a lot of
और अब
self
तो
create.
it's
अब तो
like the
it's just
worst affected.
amplified. It's
Yeah.
amplified. It's amplified. So अगर आप वहां जाएं, And initially जो होगा 1-2 दिन, and if you're with the local वो आपसे बात, they're very hospitable probably, and I've always said Balochistan में the Baloch are the most hospitable people in all of Pakistan. If I were to rank all of the
Right,
regions of
right,
Pakistan,
right.
I'd say Balochistan is like, people have gone above and beyond, above and beyond. Jabki I'm not from there, and there's this underlying backdrop of
Yeah.
conflict and everything. Like, they have every reason to be dicks to me, but नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं. In fact, के बाहर से I guess that they're going out of their way. कुछ होगा भी नहीं उनके पास. Like, they've done a lot, but जब बात करने पे आती है, it's like, and I ask very simple open-ended questions हर जगह जाता हूँ. मैं कहता हूँ, ओ हालात कैसे हैं, क्या काम कैसा चल रहा है यहाँ. Nothing. They would not say anything. Like, they would just look at each other like, okay, is it safe to talk to him? Is it safe to talk in front of him or not?
Yeah.
And or who is this person? और ये किस inference से पूछ रहा है, किस नजरिए से पूछ रहा है, ये कौन है? You know, that kind of thing. And then I think the third day, like once they had my trust and they realized, अच्छा सही है, he's just generally curious.
Yeah, yeah,
And they just started telling me too much. I was like, bro,
yeah,
I don't think I
yeah.
can handle this much. You know, I need some time to process all this. But yeah, it was
Huh.
very sad. Like what you hear about, like the poverty, how underdeveloped it is. Then you hear about their issues, and it's sad. It's sad. It's very very sad. And also how it is not reported on. Like, one thing which I made a reel on
Yeah,
Balochistan,
yeah.
and that Balochistan was flooding, and I did this a month back. एक महीने पहले मैं बताया था कि बलोचिस्तान में फ्लड आ गए हैं. ये मैंने पूरी रील बनाई थी कि
Yeah,
ये
yeah.
neglected province and everything. It was 1 month back. It made it to the news now once
Wow.
Sindh and Punjab got flooded. अभी
Yeah.
news में आया है, like इस हफ्ते. It was 1 month back. It was already flooding. And मेरे लिए ये रिकंसाइल करना बड़ा मुश्किल था कि यार ये एक हमारा मुल्क का ही पार्ट है, बट we so obviously treat it differently.
Yeah.
We don't
Huh.
report on it, we don't acknowledge it and everything. And even the people over there, वो डरते हैं आपको बताने से, which is so messed up. So like,
Huh.
ये like वो आपको डरते हैं बताने से क्योंकि उनको लगता है अगर मैं बता दूंगा ज्यादा तो like गिला शिकवा भी करना गलत है, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that's how messed up. Like, one thing I made a post about, like, in every part of Pakistan you go, so like, what is the first thing someone asks
Yeah,
you? And
yeah.
हर region में different है, हर region में different है. And I've noticed it's a pattern. Like, Punjab में सबसे पहले, like, very coyly they try to ask you your religion. मेरा second name Hassan है, so they
Yeah, yeah.
so they want to know. They just want to know. Like,
Yeah,
hey bro, are you not? Like.
yeah.
Whoa, where do
हाँ.
you belong? So there,
शिया तो नहीं हो.
Shia to nahi ho, yeah, Elit Shia to nahi, and they're very like tactful of that.
Sure, sure.
They think they're being tactful. I was like,
हाँ.
Jani, this is not the first time it's happened. ठीक है. Sindh में they want to know your race. Clearly, they just want to know, are you Sindhi, are you not Sindhi, and they
Right,
want to
right.
ask you that. And they're very very like in your face about it. Like, they really
Sure.
just generally. And in KPK and GB, surprise, they want to know your profession. And like, उनका बस चले वो पूछे आप कितना पैसा बनाता है. They want to know this.
Right.
They want to know what do you do and everything. And they're very like,
हाँ.
they want to know that. Like, लग रहा है कि रिश्ता भेजने वाले हैं आपके घर, ठीक है.
हाँ.
And Balochistan में they don't ask questions. Like, I wish they'd ask questions,
Really?
but they don't. They डरते हैं आपसे बात करने से, डरते हैं as an outsider. Only part in Pakistan, even where if you're trying to take pictures of people also, they don't want you to take pictures of them. They're very suspicious of cameras. And in fact, they get angry. And this has never happened in Pakistan. Like, अगर मैं पेशावर जाऊं तो लोग लड़ते हैं, आपने हमारा तस्वीर क्यों नहीं लिया, आपने like उनका मूड खराब हो जाता है कि पीछे पीछे चलते हुए आ रहे होंगे, मेरी तस्वीर भी लो, और फिर फुल पोज मारेंगे. और वो like Balochistan, only part of Pakistan where like I have been, where people like run away from the camera. They're very hospitable, but they don't want to talk to you much. They don't, because they don't know how it will be taken, how it will be misconstrued. They don't know who you are. That's how it is. Like, so like, it varies from like region to region. Pakistan, it's very hard. Like, sorry for the long answer, but it's very hard to like generalize and say कि यार this is what people are feeling in Pakistan, because her region की politics and everything is very different.
Yeah. नहीं, but Balochistan obviously, we for the reasons mentioned before will not get into too much detail. But
no,
अगर आपको news का अंदाजा है तो you know why they will be suspicious of everything.
Of course,
from an
of
outsider.
course, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Like,
it makes sense. But yeah, क्योंकि क्या मैं पूछ रहा था?
एक चीज जरूर पूछते बोलो रसानी कि आप पंजाबी तो नहीं है, बस ये जरूर पूछते.
हाँ.
That is what
Which also
they're like they're
aligns.
they're
Which
they're like they're
yeah.
like इसको तो ट्रस्ट नहीं करो, इसके सामने कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. सो लाइक ऐसे नहीं, पंजाबी नहीं है. अच्छा कहाँ से? कराची से? अच्छा कराची वाला है. अच्छा, so
Yeah.
allies, kind of like allies. So they're
Sort
gonna
of.
like
Yeah.
test you. They're gonna
Yeah.
test
Yeah.
sort of. They're
Yeah.
like कराची तो हम आते जाते रहते हैं एग्जाम देने, So they're like maybe हम इसको थोड़ा थोड़ा बता सकते
Yeah.
हैं.
But
Yeah, so that kind of
so
thing.
the reels thing you mentioned though, that's also, it's not new, but there seems to
Hmm.
be a focus now. Okay, this is like
Yeah.
something that you're spending more conscious time on, putting out regularly.
यार the
Aesthetic
thing
develop
is,
हो रहा है.
yeah, because it's something I'm experimenting with right now, and also because Instagram is changing, ठीक है,
Sure.
and you have to always learn to adapt with technology, and so that is one thing which I'm trying to adapt with.
Hmm.
I also feel like it's a more effective way of getting your message across. Although I enjoy writing more,
Hmm.
in a caption I can express myself
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
In a reel you're more limited,
Yeah.
and आप facts भी अगर आप दे रहे हो ना, तो like I cannot back them up in a reel because इतना time नहीं होता, इतना space नहीं होता उस जगह के अंदर. अब like कई लोग होते हैं comments, this is wrong, send me link, send me proof. वो लोग comment
Citation
करें, यार
needed.
जान citation जानी जगह ही नहीं है, मैं कहाँ रखूं यार ये, ठीक है. Like I wish I could put like I was like, अगर तुम लोग caption पढ़ते ना, अगर तुम पढ़ते मैं इसको post में डाल देता, मगर तुम लोग
Yeah.
पढ़ते नहीं
Yeah.
हो, ठीक.
Yeah.
Like so like we unfortunately have to switch over here. Reels का जो scene ये है कि yeah, it gets much more engagement, much more people will look at it. But I personally speaking like writing down posts more because I feel like I can articulate things fully over there and put it down, like my thoughts there. Reels it's a bit hard, like I'm still figuring it out right
Okay.
now. Okay. uh and reels के अंदर, yeah, like it's it's something which just adaptability के लिए कर रहे हैं. Like, and
Hmm.
I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not enjoying it. It is fun also. उसकी भी अपना
Yeah.
मजा है.
One thing I saw that you posted was, which is something that not many people know about. I guess because if you live in Pakistan, आपको आदत होती है. There was a thing about where have the women gone?
Yeah.
वो वाली जो reel थी,
Yeah.
which is something that only people not from Pakistan notice, or people who leave Pakistan and then come back, they
Yes.
notice. Because Pakistan में तो,
Yes.
your reality is what you grew up with. How'd that idea
Absolutely.
come about?
यार for many years women have been commenting on my pictures. Like अगर मैं 14 अगस्त की celebration लगाता था, and this was Pakistani women who live abroad, not over here, live abroad. They're like, why don't you photograph women? Where are the women? They would always say that. And मैं सच बात बताऊं, I used to get annoyed. मैंने कहा यार क्या हो गया यार, हमारा culture
Yeah.
है यार, लड़कियां औरतें नहीं
Yeah.
निकलती, and I would say in my head, and I would not reply to all of that, like, and I did not understand where they were coming from, like. So I would not reply to it. But it wasn't until I'd gone to Nepal earlier this year, and Nepal, like, I was like, हमारे जैसे ही हैं, look just
Yeah.
like us,
Yeah.
brown people and everything, same. And the first thing that hits you is like, आप बाहर airport से निकलो, is how many women there are on the street who are active in public life, like
Yeah.
आपको नजर आएंगी.
Yeah.
बिल्कुल equal to how many men there are, like आपका and वो हर काम कर रही होती हैं. And मैंने कहा अच्छा, and like, and mind you, at every time of the day, this wasn't like कि मैं कोई वो, every time of the day, मैं late night भी, मैं जैसे मैं early morning पे गया हूँ ट्रैकिंग के लिए, नजर आ रही थी, चलती हुई जा रही थी क्लब से वापस, सारी like लड़कियां थी, रिक्शा पकड़ी थी. मैंने कहा अजीब बात है, सुबह के 4 बजे नहीं. I mean, I'm sure वहां भी like होता
Yeah.
होगा,
Sure.
but
Everywhere.
point being
Huh.
यहाँ it's unheard of, and this is what, like, then I has to register. I was like, acha. And then the thing is, when I landed back to Karachi airport and immigration pay, it was just a sea of men. Just a sea of men. एक इक्की दुक्की औरत होगी, और वो जो एक इक्की दुक्की औरत होगी, वो या तो अपने अब्बा के साथ थी या अपने मियाँ के साथ थी. There were no women alone in public life. फिर बाहर निकले एयरपोर्ट से, and this was like the whole journey thought दिमाग में चल रहा था. एयरपोर्ट से आप बाहर निकलते हैं, गाड़ियां देख रहा हूँ, मैंने just looking at the streets, I was like, where are the women? There are no
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
There are no women. I mean, पाकिस्तान में औरतें have been allowed to drive by law, like they are like literally same वही है, सब कुछ है, but नहीं है, बहुत कम होंगी. इक्की दुक्की आपको दूर देखना पड़ेगा, नहीं है. मोटरसाइकिल पे भी आपको दूर दूर इक्की दुक्की, अगर अगर मोटरसाइकिल पे औरत नजर आ जाती है तो it's वो अनॉमली होती है कि अगर
Yeah.
गाड़ी
Yeah.
चला
Yeah.
रही है. अगर नजर आ रही भी थी कोई औरतें, वही अगेन लाइक अब्बा के साथ या मियाँ के साथ वाला सीन है. इट्स एंड आई वाज लाइक वेयर आर दे.
Yeah.
कोई दुकानें सारी मर्द मर्द चला रहे हैं, औरतों के बाजार में भी हैं वो भी मर्द चला रहे हैं. एंड then it just hit me. I was like, something is wrong in this country. Something is very, very wrong.
Yeah.
They're just not here. They're just not active in public life. And when I made that post, like when you look at the comments, some of the people जो यहाँ रहते हैं, I understand where they're coming from. They're like, no, they are there now. They are in the ladies' bazaar. I was like, of course they're in the ladies' bazaar.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I don't think you understand my point. And उसके लिए you will have to go abroad and then come back to Pakistan, and then you will
Yeah.
see what I'm saying.
Yeah. वो भी पता नहीं क्योंकि abroad में like there's also the Middle East ना, क्योंकि I remember I noticed this
Hmm.
UAE जब मैं because I lived there for a while and then वहाँ से when I went to like Malaysia for Malaysia Thailand वगैरह गया था मैं, then I came back and I noticed कि यार वहाँ तो airport पे भी दुकानों में just in public there's so many more women because UAE is also like a artificial world ना, मतलब so many
Yeah,
people
वो भी
come there
असली
for
नहीं है.
jobs.
Disneyland.
हाँ and जो immigrants आते हैं इतने सारे which are the majority of the population वो तो jobs के लिए
हम
आते
ही
हैं, तो
हम ही
male
हैं, हाँ.
dominated directly.
बिल्कुल.
People go to Turkey, they're like bro Turkey में you know there's just women everywhere in public and stuff, so it is a unusual thing that और ये समझाना भी मुश्किल है कि why is this important, you know.
यार बिकॉज द थिंग इज पाकिस्तान में जो है ना हर चीज को आपको शट अप करने के लिए अगर
Yeah.
गैसलाइट करना है, दे विल ब्रिंग रिलीजन इनटू इट.
हाँ हाँ.
And that is the thing, and they're like, I always see, I was like, it's kind of like a trap or a bait. They want you to take it, and if you take it, then they will further gaslight you because that will shut you up. Because
Yeah.
then आपको पता है उसके बाद क्या होता है.
हाँ there's always a
Then
threat at the end
there
of
is
the
a there
discussion.
is a threat. So
Yeah.
मैं, if anyone, मेरे साथ ये है, अगर आप मुझसे रैशनली आर्ग्यू करोगे, इफ you're going to rationally bring in facts, let's
Yeah.
talk, ठीक है.
Yeah.
But if you're going to start invoking, bringing in stuff like this, मैं engage ही नहीं करूंगा because I
Yeah.
know why you're doing it and I know
Yeah.
which point of view you're coming from. And जहां तक religion की बात आती है and everything, like if someone is rationally, I've had a rational conversation with someone who brought in religion. I was like, देखें जानी, if you're bringing religion into this and you're saying that religion does not allow this, मैंने कहा मैं भी आपको लेकर आता हूँ. मैंने कहा if I bring in facts over here, if we go back into Islamic history, I was like, बीबी खदीजा क्या करती थी? बीबी
Yeah.
खदीजा was a business woman,
Sure.
ठीक है. मैं कहा ये बात है, मैं कहा बीबी आयशा went to war अकेले, like she used to lead them, ठीक है. Whereas like हम आगे आ जाए, we come down to Bibi Zainab. Bibi Zainab literally carried the message of Karbala. Literally the message of Karbala was carried by women, all women.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was like, dude, Johnny, do not tell me this is religion.
Yeah.
This is something, some mutation that has come from our culture, which has come from our culture, and which we use as a sort of power to control women. यार इनको बस
Yeah.
you know, like,
which is one thing वो I did an episode अभी ना उमैर जावेद के साथ and he was saying कि पिछले 20 सालों में, because यही theme of how is Pakistan doing पिछले 75 सालों में, तो he said पिछले 20 सालों में there's been a significant increase in the number of women getting degrees,
Yeah.
which is great, but he's like
Great.
in the same period the number of women in jobs as a percentage has stayed pretty much the same.
Yeah,
So he's
बिल्कुल.
like वो पढ़ लेती हैं but they're not getting into the workforce for reasons, you know, it can't be that they're not educated.
because अभी तक पाकिस्तान की जो आइडियोलॉजी एंड एवरीथिंग उसके अंदर नेल्ड होम है ये.
Yeah.
हाँ, हम ये बदल गए कि पढ़ी लिखी बहू चाहिए, पढ़ी लिखी बहू चाहिए.
Yeah, yeah.
मगर जब बहू चाहिए ना उसको, यार घर पे रहना, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ना, बच्चे ना,
हाँ.
रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज
Yeah,
एंड
yeah.
ऑल सा. So, and I know so many of my female cousins, friends who, like, excellent women, some of the most like brilliant women I know.
Yeah. Yeah, probably your
and
batchmates also, considering you're a doctor.
so many yeah, but at the same time, like, quite a few have also broken the barrier in the sense कि
Yeah.
like उन्होंने बच्चे पूरे किए फिर they went back, but that is
Yeah.
also a very very small minority.
Yeah.
And very small minority जिनको support अपने in-laws होती है, because पाकिस्तान में तो like मियाँ सिर्फ नहीं होता ना, पूरे in-laws होते हैं, पूरा
Yeah.
पूरा आपका वो
This is a
बैठता है,
committee.
like पूरी कमिटी होती है, ठीक है, जिनसे आपको अप्रूवल चाहिए होता है, ठीक है,
Yeah.
स्टैम्प चाहिए होता है, ओके टू बोर्ड चाहिए होता है सबके. अच्छा
Bro,
जी,
एक
अब आप
तो
जा सकते
okay to board, fuck, I forgot ये भी
Yes.
देख.
यार
ये भी तो एक
पाकिस्तान
scene
में
है.
आना भी मुश्किल है, निकलना उतना ही मुश्किल है इधर से बाहर, ठीक है.
Yeah.
So yeah,
अच्छा,
so yeah, ये
you
वाला,
also went to Bosnia recently.
yeah.
Firstly, why? How does Bosnia come up as a choice?
Okay, so Bosnia, I went as to give a talk. It
अच्छा.
was a talk on like there was this talk on like the ethics of photography. उसके बारे में थी,
Okay.
which was interesting in the sense they invited me as someone as a doctor who had from a lower middle income country who had photographed the pandemic and ethics क्या थे कि
अच्छा,
कब
अच्छा.
कैमरा उठाना था, कब कैमरा नहीं उठाया था,
Wow.
कब तस्वीरें लेनी थी, कब तस्वीरें नहीं लेनी थी. So like एंड वहां साथ में मेरे साथ पैनल पे जो लोग थे वर पीपल हु हैड फोटोग्राफ द जेनोसाइड. एंड
Right.
उनका उनका पर्सपेक्टिव क्या था कि हमने कब कैमरा उठाया था, हमने क्या क्या देखा था, एंड क्या चीजें थी जो हमने देखी बट we just didn't photograph it. So like
Yeah.
it was a very interesting exchange. So like next month जो है at the end of it I'm going to Serbia. तो like उसका opposite perspective देखने जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है, जो white washing और सब कुछ जो होगी, क्योंकि हाँ,
Shit.
ऐसा तो हुआ ही नहीं था वहाँ वहाँ
Yeah.
and they're very open about the genocide denial. So and they also support Russia in the war for Ukraine.
आजकल,
So
yeah, yeah,
that might be an uncomfortable trip, but let's see. That's how
yeah.
you learn दुनिया
But
के
then
बारे में.
also there was a lot you were talking about. You know, it was very different. I wonder if East Pakistan, and which eventually became Bangladesh, शायद बाहर के लोगों के लिए, खैर हमारे as a region South Asians are also very different in terms of
Hmm.
emotionality and क्या
Yeah.
दिखाना है, क्या कितना सोचना है वगैरह. But
Hmm.
what I found curious was कि uh, when you ask people about the war and the genocide war, a lot of people just didn't want to talk about it.
They did not want to talk about it. In fact, they were like, "There's museums, just go look at it." Like, "Pali baat hai."
हाँ,
And it was very like fresh in their mind. Abhi bhi, jabki it had
yeah,
happened in 94,
in the
95 ki
90s,
baat hai.
yeah,
So like a lot of those people who were born there must be in their 20s, like mid
yeah,
20s,
yeah,
like 27, 28. It's been a while. But point being, still it was very fresh. And again, the thing is, Bosnia is a very small country. It's like 3, 4 million people. So everyone has someone who was affected by it one way or the other. At the same time, Bosnia was different because every Muslim country, like, and I say Muslim country that I've gone to, and I obviously travel as a Muslim who has a very Muslim name, Muhammad Bilal Hassan. So there is, you do find this sort of Muslim connection somewhere, like,
right, right, sure.
somewhere, or it's like, unko pata chalta hai tumhara naam Muhammad Srut, and they're like, oh, Muslim connection. Bosnia was not like that. Bosnia, in fact, did not want to have anything to do with the greater Muslim world. उनको
Mm.
था कि like हाँ हम अपने में हैं, हम मुस्लिम हैं, हम अपना रिलीजन प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, एंड yeah, we don't want you, like,
Right.
stay out of it, we don't give a shit about this ummah and
Huh.
all that stuff, ठीक है. And उनका भी I understand their perspective because they were like कि कहाँ थे तुम लोग जब हम मर रहे थे, तुम लोग तो कहीं नहीं थे,
Right.
तुम लोग ने कुछ नहीं किया
Sure.
था, ठीक है.
Sure.
So
Sure.
there is also a lot of अभी तक एंगर आई गेस, इवन डिस्पाइट द फैक्ट पाकिस्तान ने हेल्प भी किया था, पाकिस्तान यूएन वन सब कुछ हमने भेजे थे, एंड वी वर डिस्पाइट बीइंग टोल्ड दैट वीड बी सैंक्शन, हमने सब किया था, उसके बावजूद देयर वाज नो वार्मथ आईड से. In fact, if anything, they were very cold. Out of
अच्छा.
all the other countries I'd been to, I would say out of all the countries I've been to this year, I'd say the Bosnians were the least friendly and the most cold that I'd met. In fact, Serbians were very nice. All the Serbians that I
Really?
met, they were very nice and very
Huh.
helpful. But yeah, the Bosnians just like they were like very indifferent, very blasé. मैं मस्जिद भी गया था वहाँ, like नमाज पढ़ने and everything, which was interesting because people really get emotional over there on Jummah. जबकि like like over here, like Jummah is just like any other day.
It's
हम
every
पढ़ने जाते
Friday.
हैं.
Yeah.
It's every Friday. Over there they do, but you also understand the perspective because Bosnia, Abibi is divided. Only 50% of Bosnia is Muslim, and 35 almost percent is Serbian, and then another 15% is Catholic, and teen president. It's very dysfunctional.
Mm.
And so even if you're practicing your faith, Ajbi in present day Bosnia, it's kind of like an act of like resistance, like
Right.
Saasi
Right.
Wati, because another half of your country still does not
Hmm.
like you
अच्छा.
and still has issues with you. वो नजर आता है, आपको नजर आता है, जैसे अगर अगर मस्जिद है तो मस्जिद के बिल्कुल बाहर किसी ओपोजिंग ने अपना क्लब खोल दिया, जुम्मे की अजान हो रही है, क्लब का आवाज वॉल्यूम फुल ब्लास्ट पे चल रही है, उनको पता है इनको अच्छा नहीं लगता, बट जानबूझ के करते हैं, ठीक है.
Mm.
So like
Mm.
you feel the tension in the air, like there, like it's very much there, the scars are very much there. Like I've even asked someone, I was like, there's bullet holes everywhere. I was like, why don't people cover it up? They're like, you want us to whitewash our history? I was like, okay, nahi. I was
Yeah,
like, I didn't
yeah,
mean that. He's like, जब if anyone comes from Belgrade, like Serbia से कोई आता है, हम उनको सबसे पहले ये दिखाएंगे कि तुमने हमारे साथ किया था. So
yeah.
it's like I'd say like it's not like a tourist destination. It's also a very heavy destination. Like you will learn a lot, but you will come back thinking a lot from there. Like
Hmm.
it's not like कि हम chill करने जा रहे हैं, इस्तांबुल जा रहे हैं, वो वाली छुट वो वाली जगह नहीं
Yeah, yeah.
है. So yeah.
I was wondering, because I guess for them it's not really over still.
They're still living through it because the thing is एक और जो बात है जो Serbians हैं वहाँ जो 35% है they live in their own enclave एक area है समझे उनका एक province है उसके अंदर और वो 100% सर्बियंस इनके साथ मिलके नहीं रहते मुस्लिम एरिया में और उन सर्बियंस को जो है रशिया बैक करता है उनको पैसा अभी विद द होल यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट उनको पैसे दे रहे हैं आर्म कर रहे हैं so people always are on the edge that this can happen again
Right,
anytime and you
right.
get that feeling and I got that feeling when I took a bus from I took to Bosnia to Montenegro. So जो बस होती है वो चलती है from East Sarajevo, which is Serbian majority, and it goes through all the towns जहाँ इन्होंने ethnically cleanse किया था लोगों को, and like आप रोड नाम पढ़ते हो, and those towns seem weird, like even like आप जाते हो वहाँ सिर्फ like जो एक इनका जो Serbian region के flags आपको सारे नजर आते हैं, एक मस्जिद नहीं नजर आएगी, and like you see a lot of nationalist fervor उन towns के
Yeah,
अंदर, and
yeah.
when you read the history and everything and you're like oh इस town से तो सारे cleanse किए थे ये cleanse किए थे and when you read about the Bosnian genocide it was horrific and it's sad that we don't read about it because
Hmm.
this was messed up, it was messed up shit, and it was actually scary also like when like नहीं रात के दो तीन बजे बस निकल रही है and मेरे साथ एक आदत है कि मुझे नींद नहीं आती so I just read up on that place जैसे कहाँ क्या हो रहा है. I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, we're passing through. And I'm like the only brown person on this
Yeah,
bus.
yeah,
Obviously, the only person who is not Serbian on this bus.
yeah. Was
So,
that a thing? Like, did they care?
no, no,
Or were they
actually,
were just happy that you're not Bosnian?
yeah, I think they're just happy I was not Bosnian. साफ सी बात
Acha.
है. I feel like nobody was interested in me. I was very
Hmm.
disappointed in case में. Like,
Racism क्यों नहीं
I was
है?
like, I was like, Muhammad, Bilal, I was like, Pakistani, they did not give a shit. Like, even when I was crossing from Bosnia to Montenegro via the border and everything, they like did not even stamp my passport. हाँ चले जाए. मैं कहा जनी stamp कर दो वापस
Yeah,
जाने में
yeah,
मसला होगा ठीक है.
yeah, yeah.
Exit दो मुझे मैं like वापस गया हूँ
हमें पता
check.
है.
मैंने कहा I know. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
go. They're not interested. They're like, it was probably one of the easiest border crossings. Like, I went from there and I came back because I had to take a flight from
Uh,
Sarajevo. So they're very chill about it. Like, they didn't care. Like
hmm.
if anything, like, yeah, like, मुझे यही सिखाया था बात कि like the conflict is very complicated and it's still not over today. So like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I think
best.
there was some actual masle also recently in that region. Maybe it was Kosovo.
Yeah, ये कोसोवो सर्बिया के भी चल रहे हैं अभी तो like
हाँ, हाँ.
वो भी एक इंटरेस्टिंग होगा अभी जाऊंगा तो people have told me तुम do not bring up Kosovo with the Serbians. I was like अब तो मैं लाऊंगा अब तो बात
यार ये जहाँ इट्स गॉटन टू द पॉइंट वेयर जिधर भी आपको जरा जरूरत से ज्यादा पेट्रियटिज्म दिखना शुरू हो जाए ना दैट्स लाइक अगेन अलार्म बेल्स
या
कि ब्रो ये बैड सीन.
ये बैड सीन है ये मसला है ये अगर आपको थोड़ा एक नेशनलिज्म टाइप सा थोड़े झंडे वंडे ज्यादा नजर आने शुरू हो
या
जाने you're like yeah
या
okay yeah and I mean we've started seeing it also in Pakistan and everything which is you're like okay guys this
या
is a bit issue this is a
या
bit it's getting a bit
और वो
problematic here
because you were doing emergency medical stuff and you're closely linked to the healthcare scene in Pakistan abhi I'm expecting ये floods के बाद there's going to be like a big influx of people into Karachi because जिनके गांव towns वगैरह बह गए
100%
they're
100%
not going to make
100%
them again.
100% I am expecting देखो साफ सी बात है and that is the reality of it कि सिंध के अंदर जो सबसे बड़ा शहर है कराची एंड कराची इज द मोस्ट डेवलप्ड सिटी इन सिंध एंड साफ सी बात है लाइक लड़काना सक्कर एंड एवरीथिंग आर वेरी वेरी बैडली अफेक्टेड जो
Yeah.
नॉर्दर्न सिंध है they're not going to flock to Hyderabad, they're going to come here,
Hmm.
they're going to come to Karachi and Karachi का भी वही बात है coming back to my earlier thing Karachi इनका ख्याल रख लेगा Karachi will find a
Hmm.
way we will find a way to do everything and every but the thing is Karachi is
Yeah, it's already at
already
the
strained
tipping point.
it's already Karachi is made for only 8 to 9 million people and उसके ऊपर कोई upgrade नहीं हुआ है एंड कराची के अंदर जो है हैज हैड इनफ्लक्सेस ऑफ माइग्रेंट्स सिंस इट्स इंसेप्शन. एंड कोई लाइक आई मीन पार्टीशन से, इफ वी आर गोइंग टू, तो
Yeah, yeah,
पार्टीशन से पहले आए थे. फिर ये वॉर ऑन टेरर हुई थी, उससे हमारे फाट अफगानिस्तान से आए. अभी जो सेकंड अफगानिस्तान के अंदर वॉर हुई है, जो तालिबान फॉल, वो अब आए एंड एवरीथिंग, अब यहाँ आएंगे. एंड द थिंग इज, एक और जो अनफॉर्चुनेट बात है पाकिस्तान में, जो दूसरे जो बड़े शहर हैं, बड़े शहर, आई एम वेरी डायरेक्टली सेइंग दिस, लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद, दे डोंट डू नॉट वांट टू,
yeah.
they have an absolute disdain for poverty, like absolute disdain for poverty है. like लाहौर के अंदर तो बकायदा ये होगा कि like कोई, and they say it with a lot of pride in the sense कि हाँ हमारे तो कोई कच्ची आबादी नजर ही नहीं आती. हाँ शहबाज शरीफ में जानबूझ के अंडरपास ऐसा बनाया होगा, फ्लाईओवर ऐसे बनाया होगा कि आपको नजर ही नहीं आए, आपको पॉवर्टी नजर ही ना आए, you know,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah,
Same thing with Islam, इस तरह सर. And you know,
yeah.
that's the thing, like कि when disasters come, Karachi is expected to pick up all of there, and obviously when Karachi is dysfunctional because it is picking
Yeah,
up its
तो
weight
गालियां
way
पड़ेंगी.
beyond and
हाँ,
everything, Karachi will be like made fun of. Karachi पे
yeah.
memes बनेंगे, everyone will shit on Karachi, but Jani, why are you not picking up? नहीं नहीं, शहबाज शरीफ ने जो ना ऐसा फ्लाईओवर बनाया ना, ऐसा यहाँ तक कच्ची आबादी है ही नहीं, वो दीवार जो खड़ी कर दी है, नजर जो नहीं आ रहा है,
Yeah,
ठीक है.
yeah. I mean, people
like
people don't think beyond the first most obvious step. They're like, हाँ, मतलब क्या? Lahore doesn't have poor people? Of course
no,
they do. You just
of
don't see
course they
them.
do. Exactly, that's the thing. Karachi will always do it, and Karachi के लोगों के अंदर ये imbibed है, like
Hmm.
yeah, this is gonna get me hate, but मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ, this is
Yeah,
literally what it
sure,
is, like
sure. No, I mean,
and like साफ सी बात है, if you count into figures like Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, like अगर आप into population count करते हैं, it's almost 40-50 million people just live in these three like big urban, like, and Islamabad अगर मैं पिंडी वहाँ उन सब के साथ मिला दें everything, and greater Lahore and everything, it's almost like 50 million people. 50
yeah,
million people आप इन तीन शहरों में अगर like you know disaster आए, it's like अच्छा हम थोड़ा rehabilitate करें, आप थोड़ा आप करोगे,
yeah.
maybe like it, Karachi might not be this dysfunctional, but that's the
And
thing.
abhi it's like what, 33 million displaced?
Yeah, 33 million displaced.
So,
It's
I mean, because I just think about like this, you know, हमारे पास पैसे तो कभी से थे नहीं पाकिस्तान के पास somehow. कुछ लोगों के पास हैं, but you know, these villages वगैरह that are gone, and you know उसके साथ
they're
खेत
not
भी
coming. They're
चलेगा,
not coming
they're
back.
not
They're not
coming
coming.
back, right?
They're
कौन
not coming
बनाएगा?
back. कोई नहीं
जिन्होंने
बनाएगा.
जो
And अभी भी जो जो पैसे दे रहे हैं लोग, because now Pakistan, like we're at that stage where there is absolute no trust in the government or the institutions, any institution for that matter.
yeah,
So
yeah,
people are not giving money there.
yeah,
जो जिन लोगों के पास पावर है बनाने का वापस, उनको तो दे नहीं रहे पैसे, because there is no trust, absolute no
yeah,
trust.
yeah,
So लोग क्या दे रहे हैं प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को. प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या कर रहे हैं, वो जो बस बेसिक राशंस लेके जा रहे हैं वहाँ. बेसिक राशन पे गाँव नहीं बनने वाला वापस, साफ सी बात है. एंड सो वेयर पाकिस्तान इज एट अ वेरी प्रिकेरियस स्टेज राइट नाउ, and it's a very messed up situation in the sense where everything has collided together. There
Hmm.
is, and there is a political dysfunction, there is climate change, and there is an economic crunch.
Yeah,
Everything is
yeah.
here
And I'd
at
say after these floods, there's going to be like a food issue as well.
and Karachi is the epicenter. It will be
Huh.
the epicenter of all of it because it's affected by all of it.
Yeah.
Economic crunch का जहां तक सीन है, economic capital है, मगर people, I foresee, because there will be a huge migration of people. I foresee a lot of crime will like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
will post floods हमेशा जो है, as a doctor I can tell you there will be a lot of rise in infectious diseases. आपका
Yeah.
dengue, malaria, cholera, ये सब होगा. We're not prepared for any of this. Polio वैसे ही हमने पाला हुआ है इतने सालों से. And politically I don't know where we are right now, but yeah, it's a mess, man. I I try to stay optimistic, but like right now, like oh god, the outlook is very bleak. It's very
हाँ,
bleak.
हाँ, वो वाली बात है ना कि पहले भी हमेशा हो गया है, you know, गुजर जाएगा ये वो.
The
That
thing is,
only goes.
एक चीज नहीं है ना, एक चीज
हाँ,
नहीं है. I don't even like, एक चीज नहीं है कि like आप you're like it's
या
like
कुछ
everything is messed.
ये सोसाइटी किलर लेवल इश्यूज जो है ना, क्लाइमेट चेंज और कोरोना वायरस और इस तरह की चीज़ें, दे ब्रेक थ्रू योर रेजिलियंस.
Class and everything. Yeah,
हाँ,
everything.
वो आपकी रेजिलियंस हैज फाउंड यू वर्क अराउंड्स फॉर करप्शन एंड क्राइम एंड शिट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये वो. फ्लड आता है, you can't deal with, you can't resilient your way out of a
नो
fucking.
यू कैन नॉट. अगर आप घर गया तो गया. गया तो
हाँ.
गया, क्या करोगे, क्या
Yeah,
करोगे, साफ सी
man.
बात है. एंड अगर कोई इंसान है जिसके लाइक 10 बच्चे हैं एवरीथिंग एंड ही हैज टू पुट फूड ऑन द टेबल, व्हाट विल ही डू? ही विल ट्राई एनीथिंग
Yeah.
टू गेट मनी,
Yeah.
एनीथिंग. सो लाइक एंड so that is where we are right now. And साफ सी बात है, a lot of these people who are affected are the farmers जो farmlands के अंदर रहते हैं. तो क्रॉप तो गया आपका, क्रॉप तो गया
Yeah.
आपका, अब वो क्या करेंगे? एंड like it is a scary time. And on top of this we're supposed to have elections anytime, like so like
Abhi, I don't think, I still, like, up until day before yesterday, uh, politicians का still आपस में फटा चल रहा था. Like, still.
literally still I was like जानी सुधर जा यार, like देखो यार क्या हो रहा है. And it's such a mess. It is such a mess. I have seen Pakistan in messy situations, like I've lived through a lot of the
Yeah.
messy history and
Yeah.
everything. I mean इससे अगर मैंने worst time देखा था, like इससे worst time was probably the mid 2000s when like there was just like terrorism जो like was at its peak, bomb हर रोज पर. बस वो इससे बुरा था, but this is pretty bad.
उसमें भी I think tension ज़्यादा थी, but there weren't this many people directly being affected in this many areas. कि मतलब आपके घर
Yes.
चले गए, खाना चला गया, तबीयत चली गई. वो तो ये था कि शायद
नहीं.
बस स्टॉप पे बम फट जाए.
And yeah, exactly. Bus stop पे पड़ जाए. And yeah, exactly. वाली बात है. This is affecting the whole country. Like
It's
the
existential, I
disaster,
think.
yeah, and the disaster is everywhere. Like चलो fine, like 2008 में earthquake आया था. It was Kashmir and वो area था, north था. अगर आपका like पिछले जो floods आए थे, it was like आपका ज़्यादा Sindh, South Punjab, and this is everywhere. Like this is the whole country. Economics affects everyone. Political dysfunction affects everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It is quite the issue, man. It is quite the crisis right now. Like
Yeah.
and like every day I see someone like in the thick of the night just leaving like. And आपको कोई, people aren't saying goodbye even, which is, and I've made the post on this. I was like, Pakistanis have a very weird way of leaving the country where you never have closure. Like कि like आपका दोस्त होगा, बहुत अच्छा दोस्त होगा, बहुत अच्छा colleague होगा, and like you wish they like you like had chai one last time, you sat down and they tell you,
नहीं करते,
remember, like,
लोग जहां
I'm
की नहीं
leaving.
करते.
Nay, people
हाँ.
don't. Like, people
Yeah.
don't. And people are so superstitious. They're like, nazar na
नजर
lag jaye.
लग
Because,
जाएगी. हाँ.
because people, like, the thing is, this is how messed up it is. And like, coming back to earlier conversation, even mulk se bahar nikalne ke liye, they're like, anything could go wrong. Anything could go wrong. Jab tak we don't have that exit stamp, jab tak we're not on that plane.
Yeah.
So, it's like you find out through a Facebook post. You're like, oh shit. Like, I was like, I wish you'd said goodbye,
Yeah.
like normal people. Like,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, because of trauma and so many cycles of this, we have become programmed to become like this, where you never have closure. Pakistan में you never have closure. आपको कभी पता नहीं चलता कि यार, I mean, क्यों सबको पता है क्यों जा रहा है बंदा, but like you just wish, man. Like I was like, यार
और इतने लोग
खुदा
जा
पे तो
चुके हैं, it's still exactly this way कि
it's
खामोशी से निकल जाओ. Literally that's what they
खामोशी
say. खामोशी से निकल
खामोशी
जाओ
से.
और कुछ पता नहीं.
It's like sometimes you don't even know they've resigned. Sometimes they just leave. They just leave or just like evaporate into the thick of the night. Or sometimes they resign and you think, okay, they got a new job or something. They're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Actually leaving the country and everything. Everyone just leaves in the thick of the night. कभी कभार अपनी जो annual leave होती है वो use कर रहे होते हैं. And you think they're going on vacation, but they're not. They're just figuring their visa shit out. They're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
Islamabad. And you've now like I've become accustomed to it, so I've like caught on to the patterns. I was like, "Oye, छोड़ रहा है, ये मुल्क छोड़ रहा
Yeah.
है."
Yeah.
Person is
And वो
leaving.
भी
And
उमेर वाली एपिसोड में इतना मैंने कहा कि यार बच्चा, he's like, there's no, I asked him why are things so shit in Pakistan. He's like, there never seems to be any like plan from the
no.
leadership कि अब हमने ये करना है, so now we all do it for better or worse. And then he was like, अगर आप ट्विटर पे जाएंगे तो सबसे कॉमन प्लान क्या है कि आप पाकिस्तान छोड़ जाओ. That's the
Ah,
most popular.
that is the Pakistani dream. The Pakistani dream is to get
Leave
इतनी
Pakistan.
leave Pakistan, इतनी
हाँ.
education हो, इतना पैसा हो कि बस आप मुल्क से बाहर निकल जाओ, ठीक है.
Yeah.
And that is the Pakistani dream. और added on इसका जो dream है कि बाहर आप इतने पैसे बना लो कि आप दिसंबर में छुट्टी पे पाकिस्तान आ जाओ,
Yeah,
ठीक
for
है.
Decemberistan.
Decemberistan. And then you can wear Pakistan like a costume. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
wow, son of
Yeah.
Sabinas, cool, man. I like Pakistan. Rasta, nice. Yeah, afford to wear that stuff because rupe mein to we cannot afford it.
Yeah,
Just
man.
'cause-
I don't know, man. And this is
It
again, we're
is.
talking about like the super privileged compared to वो है ना हाँ what I was going to say was कि पाकिस्तान में I think people don't realize कितने लोग रहते हैं like you know सबको लगता है वो जो कराची हमारे बहुत जानने वाले हैं वो I meet people I know everywhere ये वो but fucking like millions of people you
It
cannot
is,
imagine.
it is, it is a lot, and like I mean, it takes you a long time to comprehend it. कि इस मुल्क में कितना लोग रहता है, कितना
Yeah,
इफेक्टेड है. जैसे जस्ट इफ यू टेक लाइक फाइन, आई मैं तो कराची में रहता हूँ, सबसे बड़ा शहर एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड लाइक उसके अंदर भी डीएचए में सबसे प्रिविलेज आप, मैं तो मेरा बबल में एक बबल है, ठीक है. और मुझे लगते लगेगा कि आई नो अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल जो इस बबल में, उनको लगता है यही असली
yeah, yeah,
पाकिस्तान है.
yeah.
एंड जो floods हैं where it's affect कर रहे हैं, they're not major areas, it's the heartland, it's the rural heartland. And I've met so many people abhi in these recent floods, they're like, I don't even know where this is, and they're like 33 million people who lives there. I was
Yeah,
like, जानी
yeah,
मुल्क बहुत
yeah,
बड़ा है,
yeah,
बहुत बड़ा है. And कराची, लाहौर, इस्लामाबाद से बाहर दुनिया है. Majority
yeah.
Pakistan lives outside it.
Yeah, well, for
So,
now, because I think that'll change. Just things are going for better
यही
or
आ रही,
worse.
यही होगा
Urban,
कराची
हाँ,
में. तो यही होगा
and
तो.
it's like यार जितने लोग अभी हैं वो संभाले नहीं जा रहे.
Yeah, like this, like again, e conversation. This comes. I had this with a colleague, and on Friday, so there was this this person at the, like at work, one of the staff,
yeah,
वो आए थे उनके पास, and he's like, यार थोड़ा महीने का जो है ना खर्चा वर्चा नहीं निकल रहा मुझे, like थोड़ा all about. So he's like, हाँ sure, I'll help you out, and उन्होंने उनको दे दिया and everything. And then he came to him the other day, like एक दो तीन दिन बाद, he's like, oh मैं आपको एक बात बतानी थी, एक खुशखबरी and everything. He's like, oh क्या हुआ and everything, and like he thought he'd say, oh like I got another job or something, or something. He's like, oh नहीं, मेरा बेटा हुआ है, 10वां बच्चा,
that's
and
all.
मेरा 10वां बच्चा, and like, and we're like, and he's like 10वां, he's like, and you can not barely, and you're asking me for
Yeah,
money, why did you produce them? And his saying was like, oh हम भी पल गए थे, अल्लाह की मर्जी ये भी पल जाएंगे. And then what's worse is when you go outside, like, and everything, उन 10 में से जो 4-5 उसके बच्चे होंगे वो बाहर मास्क बेच रहे हैं, literally, like, that's literally the
wow,
reality of it. And this is the reality of this country, जो like ये कर रहे हैं लोग. Like मैं तो बार बार कहता हूँ, मैं कहता हूँ इस कंट्री को mass vasectomy की जरूरत है, mass.
yeah,
अगर
yeah,
like 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 yeah, needs education, like लोगों को educate करो यार. अगर बच्चा पैदा कर रहे हो तो उस बच्चे को आपको educate करना है, उसके ऊपर खर्चा करना है, उस पर इन्वेस्ट करना है, उसकी अच्छी एक क्वालिटी, ताकि मुल्क को. बट दिस इज लिटरली व्हाट पीपल आर डूइंग, लाइक, एंड इनको कोई परवाह नहीं है, गॉड फॉरबिड इनमें से 10 में से कोई एक दो ऐसी आया हुआ है, दे डोंट लाइक,
hmm.
दे दिल वेरी, हाँ हो गया अल्लाह की मर्जी, दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग. एंड इट्स जस्ट सैड मैन, इट्स सैड, एंड दिस इज सो मेनी पीपल लाइक इन द
And like
कंट्री.
कौन है like it'll have to come top down ना अगर आपको मुल्क लेवल पे ये awareness करनी है.
अब मैसेजिंग ही ऊपर से सारी ना, वो
And
है ही नहीं,
top does not give a
प्रायोरिटी.
shit. The top is
टॉप
like,
आप
fuck it.
टॉप आपस में ही लड़े जा रहे हैं, तुमने ये
Yeah.
किया, तुमने वो किया, तुम्हारे ये केस, मेरे वो केस. अरे भाई मुल्क डूब रहा है यार, भूल जा सारे केस यार. जानी आ जा यार,
Yeah.
इस हमाम में आ यार, स्विमिंग कर, सब सब नंगे हैं इधर, ठीक है.
Fuck
लाइक
man.
सबका बुरा हाल है. दिस इज लिटरली व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, एंड इट्स, आई थिंक दैट्स, इट्स लाइक दिस I think we're beyond frustration. I think it's become like Pakistan itself has become like a parody on a democracy. Like it's literally become like a parody on a democracy, a parody on a country in itself. Like parody account ban gaya khud, theek hai,
Yeah.
aap keh rahe ho.
Yeah.
Like that is what has happened. Like I mean, there's a lot of good stuff has also happened. Like not to be
Huh,
negative,
huh. Of course, but like
but
on a mass scale, things are bad.
they're
And
very bad,
yeah,
very
और
bad.
बेहतर कैसे होंगे वो कोई रास्ता दिख नहीं रहा.
नहीं
Is
मुझे तो अभी
there,
नहीं देख.
actually, this is, we don't have to put this in the episode, but just for my understanding, would you leave? Agar, like, is there something that would have you
Yeah,
leave?
a lot of people have asked this. In fact, I was just speaking to someone today about this, and I was like, I do think about this a lot, a
Of
lot.
course.
And nowadays, I think about it a lot and everything. And yeah, like देख हिसाब सी बात है. It's two things which I have to weigh. एक is like the life that I've built through this page and everything, and वो मुझे सारी इज्जत and everything मुझे यहीं से मिली है, पाकिस्तान से मिली है, मुझे यहाँ सारी
Yeah.
इज्जत यहाँ मिलती है, मुझे काम सारा यहाँ मिलता है, मेरी
Yeah.
रोजी रोटी वहां से आती है. So that would mean okay, then putting all of that to a rest.
Yeah. I'm sure there's
Medical wali.
already Mr.
Hmm.
US or Mr. Canada.
Say,
They all
हाँ वो
probably
I mean
exist.
वो हाँ होंगे and everything,
Yeah,
and I don't think I will be able to do justice to that
sure.
because I don't feel
Exactly.
for that. For
Yeah.
Pakistan, I can write it from a local perspective, feeling it, and which a lot of people will resonate with. They'll be like, you know what? I know what he's saying. You know that thing. मैं ऐसे अमेरिका न्यूयॉर्क पे बात कर लूँ, they're like, हाँ ये तो like bullshit कर रहा है, because I'm
Yeah.
speaking from it from an outsider's
Yeah.
perspective. But over
Yeah.
here, I can speak as an insider. That मेडिकल का जहां तक सिलसिला है, ये तो मैं like, I mean मेरा बस चले मैं in heartbeat because I don't get much from it. ठीक है. I just do it to advance my career, and it's kind of like a stepping stone to something else. So yeah, like I think about a lot. मैंने कहा छोड़ूंगा तो फिर क्या करूंगा? Like I was like either I'll have to put all of this, the social media aspect, on the back burner and then just pursue the medical part full fledged. Yeah, the other part is to get this page to get bigger and bigger and make that my primary over here and then just leave that. So like it's
Yeah.
what I weigh a lot.
What about your घर वाले? Your bhai, mother?
My brother and sister both left. They
Okay.
are in America. They've both left. It was sad, like to see them go. But my sister had given up on this country long before because she's a woman, obviously. So it's like they
हाँ
gave
तो
up.
वो double.
They give up सबसे पहले, and my sister's like an Aga Khan graduate, and she's like, I'm really smart, I'm really intelligent, but this country constantly puts me down. This
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
tells me you cannot do this. And उसने तो बोल दिया, उसने कहा बिलाल मुझे जो बनना है, इंसान जो मुझे बनना है, she's like, yeah, I cannot do this over here. It's just too suffocating. So she left. She was the first one to leave. My brother followed. And my parents even don't live here. It's just me and Dadi right now over here. And like literally, it's like my parents and my entire family does not get it. They're like, Bilal, chale jao na.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Chale jao na.
हाँ.
Chale jao. Like, just leave. Like, and I tell them, I was like, no, but I don't want to leave. And they don't understand why, like, I don't want to leave. I was like, I kind of have unfinished business with this country. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, like, it's like there is a lot more stories to tell. There is a lot more things that I want to articulate. There's a lot more that I want to tell from this country, which I feel like a lot of people will not be able to do. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that I'm great at it,
No,
but
no, of
I'm
course.
saying,
But
but
you've
I'm
put in the
saying
time.
I've put in the time, I've put in the effort, and I do want to see it to like get done. And
Yeah.
so I'm not at that point yet, but yeah, with the way the things are going in Pakistan, like I feel like a point आएगा where I will have to make a decision.
क्योंकि that
कि
decision will not always be open.
no, it will
ये
not
भी
be
तो है ना.
open always.
After a point, that decision is made for you then. कि आप नहीं जा रहे.
Yeah, exactly. ये
Yeah.
वाली भी बातें हो जाती हैं and everything. So like so yeah, like ये बहुत होता है, and like घर वालों को भी बहुत होता है, and घर वाले भी जो बहुत होते हैं कि because you're a doctor and everything, so they also बार बार कहते हैं नहीं मगर तुम तो डॉक्टर हो, तुम डॉक्टर ही रहना. That kind of thing. So like I am allowed the liberty to do these things on the side is because मैं डॉक्टर भी साथ में रहता हूँ.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
God forbid मैं ना करूँ वो. They
Yeah.
don't understand the context of that. Like, you know what,
हाँ.
I'm more respected for my work there. I make more money from there. I get sent internationally over there. Like, like I am someone there. Over here, I'm just like,
Yeah.
doing some like that kind. So they don't understand that perspective of it. So it's a very like something I toy with every day. Every day. आजकल तो it's too much. It's like यार, how much more
हाँ.
longer? How much more longer am I going to stick around? How much more longer?
खैर, I
That
mean,
kind of.
यहाँ रहो वहाँ रहो, but hopefully, I hope you keep
But
getting the
one way or the
opportunity.
other, yeah, and one way or the other, stay connected to Pakistan. That's it.
Yeah.
Even अगर बाहर रहो तो at least one way or the other कुछ करो.
Yeah, because I think from experience, and I'm sure your family will feel the same. If you're like a immigrant, just we are, and your family is, and सब कुछ है, it's जितना भी assimilate हो जाओ, you can't forget कि I'm not from here. जितने भी अच्छे हालात हों, जितने भी accepted हो, लोग तुम्हें एहसास ना दिलाएं, तुम्हें खुद एहसास होता रहेगा.
Yeah, of course.
And because आपको बाहर से तो नजर आता है, जैसे मुझे नजर आ रहा है, like everything seems worse from the outside, right? And I'm like, oh,
Absolutely.
Karachi to khatam hone wala hai. Some people
Yeah.
are fucking living their lives,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But if you look at the news, it's that sanitized helicopter view,
Yeah.
and then there's this sort of shit where the floods. So now that's real. तो वो रहता है, then your kids won't have it. Your kids will just be culturally Pakistani, but we are from where we are.
Exactly.
हाँ.
वो पाकिस्तान उनके लिए will not be an internal thing. It'll just be like this बाहर
Yeah,
से thing.
yeah. It'll be like a part of their many
A
outfits.
costume. It'll be like a
Yes,
costume. Like
exactly.
a
हाँ.
costume. Eid पे हम पाकिस्तानी बनते हैं, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
So and I don't blame them also
which is
because ये भी
fine.
बहुत होता, which is
हाँ.
fine because they didn't choose it. That's it.
Yeah,
साफ सी
yeah.
बात है. That was not there. वो तो yeah, like ये बहुत होता है, and you know, like now, like at this point when I'm so deep into my work over here in Pakistan, like it's like आपकी जड़ें बन गई हैं पूरी, like मेरी जड़ें हैं यहाँ.
Yeah.
So for me to just uproot all of that seems like it seems overwhelming in itself. I was like, shit, like how do I do this? How do I
Yeah.
start this? You
Yeah.
know, वाली बात है. Like I'm not gonna lie, yes, I do think about it always, but I was like, किधर से start करूँ? And like, is it
हाँ.
worth it? It's like,
Because वो
cause
कहने
I,
को तो creator हो, तुम इंटरनेट पे काम करते हो, and that can be done anywhere, but your work is not that like
नहीं ऐसा वाला नहीं है.
generic कि
नहीं generic नहीं
you
है.
just
It's
take
like
pretty pictures and उसमें कुछ भी ad डाल दो.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं. I don't even take pretty pictures, and that's the thing. ठीक है. Like मैं बार कहता हूँ, मैंने कहा I take ugly pictures. I take the reality of this country. ये
Yeah.
ऐसी है. Like the good, the bad, the ugly. हम वैसे ही लगाते हैं because I want people to get a very realistic picture of Pakistan for the Pakistanis also. Like ये आईना
Yeah.
है,
Yeah.
देखिए,
Yeah.
have a look at it. ठीक है. And I feel like it's necessary. Like the work that I do because
हाँ.
but कई दफा like आपको अपना भी सोचना होता है ना. Like
या
अपना भी
या
सोचना होता है.
वो वाली बात है ना कि
तो
किसके लिए वो वाला बैलेंस कब टिप हो जाए. But anyway, I was quite depressed before doing this, and as you know, I don't feel much better, but I feel somewhat better कि चलो किसी से बात तो हो गई इस
एटलीस्ट
बारे
एक
में.
कैथारसिस हो गई.
हाँ.
वेंटिंग आउट सेशन होगी ना चाय के साथ,
Yeah,
जो
yeah.
वेंटिंग आउट सेशन.
Yeah. खैर, I think it's the fun. Acha, this won't be. So let's fucking just end it. Mr. Bagi, Instagram is where people should find you.
Yeah, sure.
And that's where most of your work is. Check out his reels. बड़ी मेहनत से चल रही हैं उस पे, and they're quite good. Yeah, thanks for coming. And this is a midweek episode, I expect. देखते हैं क्या होता है. It's a shitty time, but hopefully things will get better for people. Okay, bye.
Inshallah.